What is up, guys? Beancrew49 here. We are back on the Desolation map. And look behind me. It's the ghetto. In the ghetto! Yes, I've got some unfinished business with this ghetto of ours. It's been a long, slow, drawn-out process, I must admit. Filling these chests has just been a chore. It's been like a grind. It's taxing my creativity, my patience, my energy levels. It's tough to go through every single chest and try to think of something unique to put in there. It's just like, oh my goodness. But I got a lot done. I've got this whole thing on the left here, that thing right there, that's pretty much done. I'm working on this little area here, and that's what I want to start on today. I'm going to go to the Jerry main. We're going to start filling chests in there. You can only imagine what goes in the Jerry main, right? Do I have to explain it to you? Let's hope not. Yes, anyway, today is Monday, and we're going to be doing our traditional Monday tradition today on the Desolation map, where I answer a question from you, the community. This is the part of the series that I love the most. It's when you guys ask questions and I give a 15-minute answer, and I try my best to explain my reasoning and give logical points. Maybe not so logical sometimes, but I do my best. Alright, so first of all, I want to say thank you guys so much for all the questions you brought to me on this week's series of videos. You guys, this is one of the best weeks for questions we've ever had. So many questions coming in, and you know that time off really seems to have reinvigorated some people as far as asking questions. So I really do appreciate it. It was really hard to choose a question. There were so many great questions to choose from this week, but I chose the one that was the most timely. And I really have some passionate ideas about this question, so that's why I chose it. It comes to us from Funtime Springtrap, and he asks, what are your thoughts and opinions on Donald Trump leaving the Paris Agreement? Alright, thank you so much, Funtime Springtrap. Before I get into that answer, I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that I choose a question from the previous week. So if you want to get on next week's episode, you leave a question now. If I didn't answer your question and you really want an answer to it, then reiterate it. Put it again in the comment section. So do that right now so we don't forget, so we have plenty of questions to choose from next week. Alright, thank you, Funtime Springtrap. What do I think about Donald Trump's decision to not join the Paris Climate Agreement? And for those of you who are not in the know, it's basically a global-wide coalition of countries. I think there's only like 3 countries that are in this coalition, and their objective is to reduce climate change, reduce global warming by restricting industry and offering sanctions so that there's not as much emissions coming from each country. And each country would be held up to certain standards based on their period of development, so that emissions and air, I don't know what they're, to be honest with you, it's nonsense. But I'll get into that. So what do I think about that? I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Not Donald Trump's decision. Ridiculous for human beings to jump to such a conclusion that we are controlling the climate change on this planet. It is absolutely absurd. I got into a big debate on my Facebook page, on my personal Facebook page, and basically what I did is I said on my Facebook page, if anyone can give me one single solitary shred of non-circumstantial evidence that humans are causing the global temperatures to rise, I will give away my car. And I was dead serious. I'm holding the pink slip. I said I will give away my car to the first person who can tell me one single shred of evidence. Not a single person could do it. Not one. Do you know why they couldn't do it? Because no such thing exists. That's why I was so confident in putting up my car. Because no such thing exists. Listen to me very carefully. There is not one single shred of solitary hard evidence to show that human beings have any impact on the temperature of this planet, period. Okay? Now, that's not to say that we're not having an impact. I'm not saying that we don't. I'm saying that there's nothing to prove that we are. Nothing. It's all circumstantial evidence. It's basically the reason that people think that this is happening is because in 1880 or whenever we started recording temperatures, right when the Industrial Revolution happened, there was a spike in global temperatures. And people are saying, oh, that's a huge spike in the temperatures rising the moment we have factories. And that's circumstantial evidence. I'm going to post a graph for you guys right now to show you, to put something into perspective here. The climate of the world is always in fluctuation. From the beginning of time to the end of this planet, the temperature will always be changing. Always. That's what the planet does. Now, over the course of this planet, the temperatures have, through ice core samples, we know that the temperatures have fluctuated so wildly that this blip that's occurred since the Industrial Revolution it's like a blink of the eye in the terms of the planet. And it's too small a data set to draw inferences from, basically. It's a tiny wee little data set. 200 years in the span of the Earth's lifetime is not enough to draw conclusions from, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, what's happening now is based on no evidence, we're getting a global enforcement of policy based on no evidence. We're living in crazy times right now. If there's no evidence for a person who, O.J. Simpson wasn't in jail for murdering his wife because there was no evidence. Okay, if you can't lock away O.J. Simpson, how are you going to enact worldwide change for something that hasn't proven to exist? It's absolutely ludicrous. So as far as the global climate agreement, I am on board with Donald Trump. I don't care if that makes me unpopular. I don't care. You should not be enacting policy based on pseudoscience. This is false science. This is basically the opinions of scientists without evidence. The whole basis of science is that you can prove something with evidence and then you can act on it. But we're acting on something when there is no evidence. And that's dangerous. And I'm objecting to this Paris climate thing based on principle. Not because I think we should be polluting the planet. I think we should be doing everything we can to preserve this planet in every way possible. But to enact global policies based on nothing, that's a slippery slope. That starts us down a very dangerous trend where all of a sudden the opinions of people can influence global policy. If you guys haven't read 1984 yet, this is part of it, okay? You guys need to go read 1984 because it predicted everything that's happening. And that is what's happening now. We're enacting global policies based on fuzzy science that has been presented to us by Al Gore, a politician. Everyone's in this hizzy. Everyone is like, okay, this is the problem. This is what we're going through right now. Climate scientists who are majorly funded by governments and huge corporations, which are in the pockets of governments, are saying there's no evidence to support this, but it looks like it could happen. It looks like factories are making the world's temperatures go up. Not just factories, obviously, but emissions is making the world's temperatures go up. There's no evidence to support this. The only real evidence we have are climate models, which are basically taking a man-made computer program, putting in numbers that we can't possibly know, and getting results. Okay, so that's basically the only evidence in support of what's happening, what they're saying is happening. So climate scientists are saying, yeah, we don't really know, but it looks like it. And politicians are saying, okay, that means it's happening. And they're not going to question it. The people aren't going to question it because these people have PhDs. They must know what they're talking about. But when you look at the history of the world, in every single instance, science has been proven wrong. The consensus of all scientists at one point was that the world is flat. The consensus of all scientists at one point was that we are at the center of the universe. The consensus of all science at one point was that disease is caused by witches. And you know what kind of policies they enact? Because the science knew that disease was caused by witches, they started burning witches. How is that different from what's happening right now? Scientists are making up the idea that we're causing global climate change, and now instead of burning witches, we're, enacting global policies. It's the same thing. It's happening over and over again. History repeats itself over and over and over again. And then one day, in maybe 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, someone's going to come out with some technology that's going to show either, yes, we are raising the emissions or raising the temperatures of the planet, or more likely, no, we're not, and this is just variance in the Earth's temperatures. That's what's going to happen. And then about 100 years from now, they're going to look back on us and they're going to start laughing. They're going to laugh at us because we're basically burning witches because they're causing disease. So that's why I back Donald Trump. Not because I like him in any way, shape, or form, but because he did the right thing. Now, I don't know much about Donald Trump. So I actually did a tarot reading on this very thing, and I made a video about it, which you can go watch on my other channel, because I wanted to know what his motivations are. And it seemed like his motivations, from what I could gather, were exactly what you would expect. You know, he didn't do it because it was right for the world. He did it because, you know, he's in the pockets of corporations, basically, and he doesn't care. You know, so I think Donald Trump did the right thing for the wrong reason. That's what I think. I think he did the right, unwittingly. He's that dumb. He unwittingly did the right thing. In a world full of crazy people, Donald Trump is the most sane one. I don't believe it. No, I think he did the right thing just without even knowing it, because maybe he did. I don't know. How much can you really tell from a tarot reading? I'm not really sure exactly what's going on in his mind. But the right thing here is to not get crazy over pseudoscience. Basically, what's happening now is science has become a religion. It used to be where science was, you know, you can prove something in a lab, right? You can repeat the results and you get a predicted answer. Whatever you predict comes out. And if you can do that enough times and it happens at the same time every time, then that's science. It's proven something. It comes out as fact. But right now we got people who have no facts, scientists, and they're imprinting their beliefs on science. I think this is happening. So now science has become a religion where people are putting in their own beliefs to try to prove something's real. Think about that for a second. And that offer still stands. If any of you in the comment section can offer one single solitary shred of evidence that the world's climate is changing because of human beings, I will send you my car. I'll drive my car out to you wherever you are, as long as you're in the US. I'm not going to send my car to England, okay? Unless you want to pay for it. If you pay for the shipping costs, then fine. But it's an Acura Integra. It's very nice. Okay. But I'll give you my car. If you can do that. I would love to see some evidence. Now, I know the counter argument is, yes, Bean, of course, we should be protecting our planet. It doesn't matter if we're you know, directly affecting the temperature or not. We should do the right thing to protect our planet. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. You don't know how much I agree with you. I agree with you more than you agree with that, right? But we have to do it the right way. Scaring people into believing something that's not true is true, that's dangerous. When people are afraid, they make rash decisions. When people are living in fear, they don't use their brains. They go off emotion. And it's very dangerous because now this opens a doorway for governments to really say anything. What if they said, okay, there's no evidence, you know, but we think that playing video games creates serial killers. So the new policy is that no more video games. How would you feel? You would say, I agree, but I would like to see some evidence first. You know, if there was evidence that video games was making serial killers, then sure, let's ban video games. But show me the evidence first. Don't say, oh, I think it's happening, right? It sounds reasonable, right? I've only asked 3 kids, and, you know, 2 of them turned out to be serial killers. So that is a definite fact now that video games cause serial killers. That is exactly what's happening with climate science right now. We don't have the technology to measure what we're trying to measure. So we're just guessing. We're just making guesses. But now we got policy based on guesses. And the entire world has gone mad because that guy, that climate scientist is smarter than me. He must be right. There's no way he could be wrong. Just like the other scientist who said the world was flat and everyone agreed with, right? Idiots! Stop being stupid. Use your own brains. Let's see some evidence before we start doing some craziness. The world is going mad right now. And I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I agree with Donald Trump. Well, I don't really agree with John. I don't know why Donald Trump. I agree with his decision. I agree with his decision. It's standing up to false science. It's standing up to religion. There's no faith in science, but people are believing. They believe. I use that word in the most religious sense. They believe that humans are causing climate change. Look at that graph I showed you. I might put that graph up again. Does this not put into context what I'm saying? Look at this graph. Look at this photograph and tell me that what we're seeing now is anything but just random variances in the extremely chaotic system that is the Earth's climate. It's extremely chaotic, and it's so egotistical of human beings to think that this tiny little blip on the graph is because of us, because we are so powerful, we could dominate Mother Nature. We can control the climate. We are man. Oh, I mean, we only invented fire like 10,000 years ago, but we can control the climate of the Earth. Guys, they're going to laugh at us. Maybe it's like less than 100 years. They're going to be laughing at us very soon. So let's get our heads out of the sand. Let's use our brains. And let's not get all carried away with paranoia, which is induced by Al Gore. Al Gore-induced paranoia is not the kind of paranoia I want to see from you or anyone else. So use your brains, think for yourself. That is the moral of today's story. So I want to say thank you to Funtime Springtrap and everyone who has a question this week. I really do appreciate it. Leave a question for next week and we'll get into that. Who knows where that will take us. We will see. The ghetto's coming along. I'm going to work on this off camera, try to get more things filled for you by the time we come back. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Put a comment in the comment section if you have anything to say. Subscribe if you haven't already. Happy Minecrafting. Peace.